This is the Sabbath School lesson for the second quarter, 2021.
Lesson 3 for April 10 to 16, ready for teaching on April 17, All Future Generations, and read today by Dr. Percy Harrold. Sunday, April 11, The Sin Principle. Our text for today is Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The divine opinion at the end of God's creation was that all was very good, Genesis 1:31. Then sin entered and the paradigm shifted. Things weren't very good anymore. God's orderly creation was marred by sin and all of its loathsome results. Rebellion had reached terrible proportions by Noah's day. Evil consumed the race. Though the Bible does not give us many details, the transgressions and rebellion were clearly something that even a loving, patient, and forgiving God couldn't tolerate. There's more in Patriarchs and Prophets, pages 90 to 92, if you want to read that as well. How could things get so bad so quickly? The answer is perhaps not that hard to find. How many people today, looking at their own sins, have not asked the same thing? How did things get so bad so quickly? Question: look up the texts listed below, write down the points they make, notice the steady progression of sin. First of all, Genesis chapter 3 and verse 6. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. And then verses 11 to 13, and he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? Then the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And the Lord said to the woman, What is this you have done? The woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. And then Genesis chapter 4 and verse 5. But he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. And verse 8, Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and killed him. And verse 19, Then Lamech took for himself 2 wives, the name of one was Ada, and the name of the second was Zillah. And verse 23, Then Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, wives of Lamech, listen to my speech. For I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. And Genesis 6, verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And verse 5, Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And finally, verse 11 of chapter 6, The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Genesis 6 verse 5 and 11 did not arise in a vacuum. There was a history before them. Their terrible result had a cause. Sin progressively got worse. It tends to do that. Sin is not just a cut or a wound with some automatic built-in process that brings healing. On the contrary, if left unchecked, sin multiplies, never satisfied until it leads to ruin and death. One does not have to imagine life before the flood to see this principle operating. It exists all around us, even now. No wonder God hates sin. No wonder, sooner or later, sin will be eradicated. A just, loving God could do nothing else with it. The good news, of course, is that though he wants to get rid of sin, he wants to save sinners. That's what the covenant is all about. This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. It's supported by the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel Australia and is rebroadcast by Christian Record Services and through podcasts at It Is Written in the United States, Hope Channel Germany, and through Apple iTunes and SoundCloud. Remember, God is always faithful.